How does a writer know if a scene is working or not? We asked Jason Eric Perlman this question. He's the filmmaker behind this movie on the screen right now. It's a movie called Sight. We'll link up to the movie below. Jason gave us an answer that surprised us, and it really rings true when we think about some of our previous videos. By the way, this is a brand new interview that we haven't released yet. So let's go to the timeline and have Karen ask the question.
When you're writing, how do you know if a scene is working or not?
That's a great question, and it's tricky. I think I know if I'm like breathing heavily, which normally my work I tend to do is often relatively intense. So if I'm writing, an intense scene, if I'm very engaged with it personally, if my biology is engaging with it, then I feel like it's working. And sometimes, I'll often actually sort of under my breath speak the lines as I'm reading through it, and to sort of murmur the lines and just kind of hear them in the mouth a bit. And I get teased by my wife teases me when she hears me from another room when I am doing that. And she'll sometimes whisper and be like, "You're breathing." It's like, I can hear you breathing in the other room, like you're like gasping. I'm like, that's great, because this is cooking. Then this one's working, because if you get your sort of nervous system plugged into it, then that's what you want the audience to take out of it on the other end, right? They want them to be feeling it in a very visceral way. So when it's more of a if it's a expositional scene or a setup scene, or it's something a little bit more dry where you gotta get this information out somehow to explain what happens next, that can be a little trickier, because those nuances aren't quite as engaging, and you kind of just have to get a collaborative input. If it's like, does this scene work? Do we even need it? Is it getting the job done? Could we spice it up? Do we need to take it down? Those types of scenes are a little bit more open to, once you start kind of bringing people in to give you notes and so forth.
Jason is actually making a great point here. This activating your nervous system or this biological reaction, this isn't going to happen for every scene that you write.
But if it's like a climactic, or it's an act break scene, or it's a revelation scene, or a piece of new information gets brought out that's unexpected, and you want people to be like, if you could feel your nervous system engaging with it, then I think you're onto something. If you're breathing, if your palms are getting sweaty or something. I mean, I've caught myself a number of times when I'm working on a scene where I'm just like I gotta keep putting on chapstick, and I'm biting my own lips, doing the lines and stuff. And then I know, all right, something's working here,
Yeah, I mean, we love Jason's answer, and it actually inspired us to make this video. We know already that there's gonna be skeptics. There's gonna be some of you that think Jason's crazy. How about this? How about we bring in one of the most respected teachers of story? Let's bring in Christopher Vogler. He's the author of The Writer's Journey, Mythic Structure for Writers. And we're going to get Vogler queued up here. This is actually the first clip that we thought of. After when Jason gave his answer live, this is the clip that we thought of.
That's a real deep belief of mine, that this stuff of stories acts upon the human body more than the human mind. The mind is involved. The imagination is involved, of course, but I think this was a belief that Joseph Campbell had, that the images in the myths were somehow programmed to bypass the brain and the intellectual function. You can still use it, but you're actually being affected below the neck, mostly, in the organs of the body. And that's a rule of mine, that if two or more organs of the body are not secreting fluids or squirting or generating tears or causing the chemicals in the neck to choke up or making the heart beat faster, All those are injections of chemicals by these organs of the body, which are somehow mysteriously programmed to respond. If we see a fireman pick up a baby and carry it out of the fire, something goes on inside you and makes you tear up or choke up or makes your heart swell. So I'm a big believer in the power of these things, and that they actually operate below the level of the brain processing. It joins in too, but it's more about the direct effect on the organs of the body.
Vogler actually says that it's a rule of his that 2 or more body organs have to be responding to the material. So clearly he agrees with Jason. All right, so now we pull this next clip with a legend of comedy. We actually just posted this clip just recently. This one's with David Zucker, one of the creators of The Naked Gun and Airplane. Let's see what he has to say about this.
You see something that appears to be funny, but you don't laugh. So we always, Jim and Jerry and I and Pat Proft always had this mantra that it has to get a laugh. We'd preview the movies, and if we didn't hear a laugh, people may have been like smiling and liking it, but we cut it out. You know, it's got to get an audible laugh to stay in the movie. Otherwise, it's merely clever. And the corollary to that, we have an entire, like 100 terms, which we call the glossary of terms. And one of them is bullfighting. And, you know, you can do an impressive thing like, olay, oh, look what I did, look at this. But it's not funny. So in so many comedies, you see, you know, something clever, but it doesn't get it. We want to deal in belly laughs. I mean, you gotta hear it.
All right, to be fair, David is talking about the final movie and not necessarily the writing process. But at the same time, you can hear that he doesn't mess around. He wants people laughing out loud, or it's out of the movie. You know, that's his standard. You know, with that said, let's go back to writing. Is this something where you need to throw your work away if you're not feeling anything? Screenwriter Mike Thompson gives his thoughts in this next clip. And this one is pretty funny because we actually received some pushback on this video. Most people, you know, they got the message and they understood, but there definitely were some that were quite upset over this one, especially the title. You know, the title being, if you don't cry while writing a screenplay, throw it away. So some people, they just couldn't handle that part of it. So let me just play the clip.
I just kind of did not demand of myself the creative originality to take the time to feel something and try and find a way to express it that hasn't been done before, or that moves me because it's touching a part of me that I've been experiencing lately. Those are the scripts where it might read fine because I'm a professional writer and I know how to write something, but you don't feel anything because maybe I didn't feel anything writing it. And I always regret writing scripts like that because there is so much time that you put into these things, plotting these things and putting the work in and writing them. That's why it's so critical that you feel something when you conceive it and when you write it every day. I always say if I don't cry a little bit at some point in the script, throw it out. Because it needs to move you. And if it doesn't move me, it's not going to move anyone else, right?
So if you're not feeling anything when you're writing, it doesn't mean throw it away. You know, I'm not going to tell you to throw it away, but maybe ask yourself, are you really going deep enough? As Mike said, are you really taking the time to feel something? And are you finding a way to express what you're feeling? I just want to share one more clip from this same segment with Mike, where he gives you practical advice on how you can create this kind of resonance in your writing.
The other thing too is you're going through stuff in your life. You may be going through a divorce, or you just had a new baby, or you know, who knows what in your life. And the energy and the emotions that you have going on in your life are finding their way into that screenplay. And so there's a little bit of a snapshot in time and into yourself. That's what you give it. That's why these people say you're putting your heart into it, because you're sharing aspects of what you're going through in this piece of art that you're trying to create. And it's there, it's on the page. You might steal a piece of dialogue that you just had from your fight with your wife who you're divorcing, you know, or what have you. Or you might, as I often find, take a sweet piece of dialogue that your child said at bedtime, and that perfectly finds its way into the script because the innocence of their own dialogue is better than anything you could have come up with, right? So those elements are what give it that emotional resonance, as if you're honest and put your experience, what you're feeling, into the script at the time, and finish it quickly.
Yeah, I really like that. You know, this is the stuff that helps bring your writing to life. I just thought of something. Let me go into story questions. I want to find this one question for you. You know, this one question really encompasses what this video is all about. I believe it's question 1894. All right, it's coming up. All right, here it is. There it is. How does this story affect the organs of your body? Is it causing laughter? Is it generating tears? Is it causing you to get choked up? Is it causing your heart to beat faster? Is it making you sweat? Is it giving you a knot in your stomach? So if you go ahead and if you change the word story to scene, then there you have it. This is the perfect question for this video. All right, we hope that this video has settled any debate on whether it's okay to feel emotions when you are creating. As a matter of fact, you're probably right on track if you are sort of feeling emotions and getting choked up, and if you're crying or if you're laughing while you're writing, that means you're probably on the right track. Please comment below if this video resonated with you, or even if you think it's all nonsense, go ahead, let us know. If you would like to see more videos in this style, let us know that as well. We appreciate you watching.